Denny Hamlin just went against pretty much the entire NASCAR community. And he's not backing down. We're talking Kyle Larson, Jeff Gluck, Jordan Bianchi, all on one side. Hamlin standing alone on the other. And what he said about pit lane safety might actually change how you see that controversial call at New Hampshire. Let's break it down. And hey, real quick, if you're a true NASCAR fan like me, go ahead and drop a like and subscribe to the channel. NASCAR Nation news is just getting started. We are pushing for our next subscriber milestone, and it's all about real talk from fans who live this sport every week. All right, let's get into it. So let's set the scene. This is the Dollar Tree 3-1 at New Hampshire Motor Speedway last Sunday. And honestly, the weather stole the show early on. Conditions were bad enough that NASCAR made wet weather tires mandatory right from the start. Before the green flag even waved, we already saw Carson Hocevar spin out. That tells you just how tricky that track was. Up to that point, nobody really had a problem with NASCAR's calls. But then, lap 40 happened, NASCAR made the decision to impose a mandatory competition caution, and that's when things got heated. The reaction from the racing community was not good. But Denny Hamlin came out and defended NASCAR's decision, and he did it in a pretty blunt way. Here's what he said on his Actions Detrimental podcast. Pit lane was, in his words, genuinely really wet. And he described a scenario where a car could come in, slide, and take out a crew member's legs. That's the exact risk he was pointing to when he insisted NASCAR's decision to freeze the running order was the right one. Now, this wasn't just Hamlin randomly defending NASCAR. He was actually responding directly to criticism from Travis Rockhold, who's the producer of his own show. Travis felt that professional drivers shouldn't be making mistakes like sliding into crew members in the pit lane. He wanted to see different strategies play out, something that could have shuffled the running order and added some real excitement to the race. But here's the thing, NASCAR's whole approach at that moment was about safety first. Once they noticed the track was starting to dry out, they told everyone to switch from wet tires over to slicks. The problem? The pit lane itself was still wet, and that meant there was a genuine risk of drivers losing control down there. No matter how skilled they are behind the wheel, every Dollar Tree 301 seems to bring its own weather drama and tough calls at New Hampshire. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next one. Now, Hamlin didn't just dismiss the criticism either. He actually validated some of the concerns. He admitted that most of the field was already struggling with their tires at that point, and green flag pit stops were coming up fast. On top of that, the track wasn't fully dry yet, and Hamlin said he personally wasn't comfortable switching straight to full slicks under those conditions. So in his view, the order freeze, the controlled pit stops, and the 5-lap caution that followed, that all worked out in his favor. His exact words, "I don't mind disagreeing, but I just didn't see anything that was wrong." But like we said at the top, the broader community was not on the same page. Kyle Larson, Jeff Gluck, Jordan Bianchi, and plenty of others made it clear they didn't appreciate NASCAR's micromanaging. Their argument? It took strategy completely out of the hands of the crew chiefs. And this isn't the first time this year Hamlin has sided with NASCAR over the community either. Earlier this month, NASCAR changed procedures to try and maximize green flag racing and cut down on drawn-out cautions. Now, any natural caution in the final 10 laps of a stage automatically becomes the official stage break. A lot of fans criticize NASCAR for acting so late on something people had been asking for months, even years. But Hamlin offered a different take, saying, "It's hard to think of everything. I mean, every rule change that you implement, it's like you never know what the cause and effect is." Now let's talk about who was hit hardest by that New Hampshire decision. Jordan Bianchi didn't hold back after the race. He pointed out that the call didn't actually damage the running order overall, but it did wipe out any strategy teams had been building. And the driver who lost the most from it? Shane Van Gisbergen. Van Gisbergen is known for being excellent in wet conditions because of his road course background, and he proved it early, taking the lead and building a gap of more than 5 seconds over the field. But once all 36 cars were forced to pit in the same order, he came out still in the lead, only to lose it shortly after as faster cars that had been behind him worked their way back past. Bianchi didn't mince words on the Teardown podcast. He said, "NASCAR has to stop holding the crew chief's hands. Stop handcuffing them." He went on to say this is supposed to be the pinnacle of stock car racing, with the best drivers and the best minds on top of the pit box, and that they should be trusted to figure things out themselves. He even said starting the race on wet tires was completely fine. Nobody would argue with that call. His issue was with what happened after. And honestly, from a fan's perspective, that crossover period between wet and dry tires is usually one of the most exciting parts of any race. Who pits first? Who stays out and gambles on track position? Those decisions are what make strategy so much fun to watch. And in this case, that entire element got taken away. So here's where it lands. Hamlin believes safety comes first, no question. But the rest of the community is saying NASCAR also needs to trust its drivers and teams to handle tough moments on their own, because sometimes the best racing comes from letting the professionals make the hard calls themselves. So I want to know what you think. Was NASCAR right to step in and freeze the field for safety? Or should they have let the crew chiefs and drivers handle that wet pit lane themselves? Drop your take in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you like this video and subscribe to NASCAR Nation News. More stories like this are coming your way soon.